Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Airsoft Tac Pack podcast. I am your host, Alex Spriggs, codename Falcon. This is the debut podcast, which means this is the first, so we thank you for joining us. A few quick things about our podcast. We are an Airsoft Central podcast, so that means that we will be discussing everything Airsoft, from guns and gear to news from around the world. Thank you for listening to the first one, and thank you for joining the pack. So, welcome to the podcast. I'm joined right now, sitting in the next seat next to me, by my cohort partner in crime, Cody Squirrel May. How you doing, Cody?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Alright, so we're going to talk a little bit of Airsoft news. So I have an article here from ABC 7. This is out in Texas. The date of this article is from Sunday, September 8th, 2019. New Caney, Texas. A teenager is facing charges after bringing an airsoft rifle and BB pistol to a Walmart in New Caney. Montgomery County deputies say 18-year-old Matthew Woodward told them he wanted to get people's reaction to him walking into the store with the weapon. Officials say in the wake of the recent mass shootings, his actions resulted in several people fleeing the store. They also say the airsoft rifle did not have orange tip markings showing that it was not a real gun. Woodrow was arrested for disorderly conduct. So, first of all, Mr. Woodward, 18-year-old Mr. Woodward, you, sir, are an idiot. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. You, sir, are an idiot. Really, you should know that from the guy that a couple of weeks before brought a real AR-15 loaded, 100 rounds of ammunition, pistol strapped to his side. He was tackled and arrested, charged with a lot of more serious things other than just disorderly conduct. So, let's talk about this. First off, why would you do something like that? I mean, it says in the description that he told police that he just wanted to get people's reaction to him. Are you really that desperate for attention that you're going to do something that you know you should not do just to get people's reactions to him? I mean,
It's just stupid. Why would you, in any circumstances, walk into a Walmart with two airsoft guns?
A rifle and a pistol. It doesn't say what kind of rifle it is, but let's just say the most common airsoft rifle is an M4.
M4 or an AK.
And both of them are readily available as real guns. I mean, you're not going to walk into a store with a LMG, like a M249, because those are not readily available. People are going to see that and they're going to say, well, maybe it's a real gun, most likely it's a fake gun. But let's talk about something right here. Airsoft guns are so popular now, strictly for the reason that they look, feel like real guns. I mean, if I take my M4 that I have at home, my Airsoft M4, and I put it next to my AR-15 that I lost, a tragic boating accident, if I was to put it next to that when I had it and took a picture, the only thing you could tell the difference of is my M4 has got my Airsoft M4 has a little line going out the back for my HPA hookup. That's the only thing. You can hold those two next to each other and they look exactly the same.
We'll do it this way. We'll take my AEG M4 and we'll sit it next to your AR-15. And they will look...
That I tragically lost in a boating accident.
Anyways, if you would still have it, and I set my M4 next to it, they would look very realistic next to each other. Except for I have a different stock on mine.
Yeah. And so, but that's the reason that they're so popular. Paintball, leaving aside the fact that paintball is becoming very expensive with air tanks and paintballs, the ammo is getting expensive. Leaving aside the fact that airsoft is much cheaper to start out with, and all of that, it's cheaper to maintain and play. The main difference between them and the reason that Airsoft is becoming so popular is because, unlike paintball, Airsoft guns look like real guns. So, what can we take away from this? I think that what we can take away from this incident is that if you're going to, first off, every Airsoft gun that gets shipped to you, you buy an Airsoft gun, regardless of what type, it is always shipped with the blaze orange tip. Now, as Airsofters, professional, amateur, whatever, you don't want that blaze orange tip sticking out on the field. Right?
Correct.
Because the main thing is, if you're going out there, you're going to dress up in camouflage, you're going to dress up, you want to be concealed. You're not going to want them to see you very easily. So what you're going to do, you're going to take off that blaze orange tip. You're going to paint that tip, get a mock suppressor, get a flash hider, get something to take that orange tip and make that a regular color that's going to blend in with the gun.
Almost all of my Airsoft guns do not have the orange tips
The only orange tip that I have on mine would be my Beretta M9 pistol, and that's just because I don't...
And your 1911 has the orange threaded tip.
Has the orange threaded tip, but I've placed a mock suppressor on it.
Yeah.
For the reason that it looks cooler. I mean, come on. If you're not going to customize, make
Doesn't
it look
do
cool.
anything
It doesn't
to it.
Yeah, it doesn't do a thing to it. But it makes it look cool, so I like that.
It is pretty funny.
But the thing is, if you're going to do that, you need to exercise some common sense. You're going to have to exercise some common sense. You're going to have to know that once I take that orange tip off, nobody's going to be able to tell the difference between this and a real gun. So exercise common sense and exercise regular standard gun etiquette. If you have that Airsoft gun, treat it like it is a real gun. If you're going to transport it, don't just stick it in the back of your car, like we've done a couple times. Put it in a case. Go buy a $20 case, gun case. Put it in a bag, zip it up. Even if you just cover it up with a blanket, make it to where it's concealed in the back of your car. Make it to where, put it in the trunk, and God forbid you get pulled over with those things in the back if you don't have them covered.
I have a few times.
I have not, fortunately.
You should have seen the look on the officer's face when he looks into the cab of my truck and sees a giant MG42.
I can imagine.
He kind of goes white. It was pretty funny, I have to admit.
Fortunately, you didn't get shot for that.
I know.
Officer, I do have a weapon in the car.
One is real and a few of them are not.
But we believe in the Second Amendment here at Wolfpack TAC. These are Airsoft guns. These are not real guns, per se. They're not. But you need to treat them like they're real guns. And this guy doing this, 18 years old, you need to know better about that. And doing this and getting caught like he did, the way he acted in it, he wanted to get people's reaction. This is just going to make Airsoft guns, Airsofters look horrible. Because they are so realistic looking. We had a couple of years ago, I think it was California, wanted to regulate every Airsoft gun had to be brightly colored. Not just the orange tip, but every part of it had to be brightly colored. Pinks, yellows, oranges, bright...
Purple.
Well, no, bright colors, not dull colors. But I mean,
you can get bright purple.
Well, that's fine.
My gun is a very dark, dull purple.
But yeah, bright colors, because they wanted to be assured that this is not a real gun, it's brightly colored. I got news for you people in California. Spray paint is a thing. And it doesn't matter how bright you make that. A couple of coats of black spray paint will dull that color. And you're also going to make it to where if anybody wants to do real harm and carry around this big real gun without it looking too conspicuous, you're going to paint that brightly colored so people think it's an Airsoft gun. Ridiculous thinking, but this is an argument for those people. Oh, he walked into a Walmart. He panicked people. It wasn't a real gun. Yes, it wasn't a real gun. So he really had no harm. He really didn't do any harm except he panicked people. And we need to regulate these so that he doesn't get shot and he doesn't harm anybody else and cause panic. Hello. Anyway, so that's the first bit of news. All right, for our next bit of news, this is an article from USA Carry. This is a website, I guess, from the name of it, concealed carry website. Do airsoft guns have any value for concealed carry training? Airsoft guns can simulate the use of a real pistol, but does that mean that using them has any value for concealed carry training or practice? So, Squirrel,
I think so.
You and I both are concealed carry. We both have our concealed carry license for the state of Ohio. Go Bucks. And
Okay.
Our apologies to any Michigan fans out there.
You know that I carry a full-size 1911 as my concealed carry and my open carry. Both my concealed open carry and the pistol that I use for airsoft are both full-size 1911s. I have actually trained pulling my airsoft 1911 out of my concealed carry holster and my open carry holster, taking the safety off and putting around down range out in the backyard to kind of practice that.
Yeah.
Because doing that where I live would be very, let's say, not welcomed if I did that with my actual gun.
Yeah, you live in town, suburb.
Yeah.
Now, I live out in the country, but where I live, I still can't do live fire practices. Now, occasionally we will go down to the property that we have. It's out in the... There is boondocks. It's boondocks.
Yeah.
So open range, as long as you know what's behind you, obviously. I've done live fire with it, with my concealed carry weapons, but I must admit, I too have a 1911, real 1911, and I have an airsoft 1911. I will practice with my 1911, drawing, putting one down range. But I think the main purpose of training with an airsoft gun is not necessarily drawing and putting down range. That is a very useful practice. Draw your gun. Put one down range without shooting yourself in the leg or foot.
Or in the butt in my case, because I keep mine in the hollow of my back.
Yes, and I pity people who have an ambidex. I'm sorry. I can't remember. It's the one where it's on the front and the pistol's pointed towards the sensitive areas. I would.
The family jewels.
Oh, man.
I definitely feel bad for those kind of people.
Appendix. That's what it is. The appendix right there.
Because I've seen videos of people who have the holsters on the side like you do. Mm-hmm. And they go to pull it and they end up shooting themselves in the leg. Yeah. I can only imagine if you're in a tense situation and you try to quick draw that pistol out of the front of your pants.
Oh boy. the person in front of you.
Hopefully you already have the amount of kids that you want, because you're not having more.
Yeah. At the very instant, the person ahead of you trying to kill you was the least of your problems. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, you might just welcome him to say, "Hey, shoot me, please shoot me. I've done something horrible.
Just end me now."
Yeah, end my suffering.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, I think that having conceal your airsoft training with your airsoft gun, no amount of training is bad. We let's be real about it. No amount of training, pulling, aiming, shooting, that is always good. You need to do that. Repetition. But there is a difference. There are weight differences in your guns. You and I both know the 1911, the real 1911, loaded with 45 caliber rounds, is a little bit heavier than your airsoft 1911. That being said, muscle memory. Building your muscle memory is vital. Building your muscle memory. And here's the thing. If you're going to train with your airsoft gun, put that airsoft gun in the same holster, same place that you carry your real gun. And it's not just because, I'm just so used to having it back there. It's for the muscle memory. Because when you are staring down the barrel of someone's gun, or you hear live gunfire near you, or you're about to be shot, or something, you're in a very stressful situation, you're not really thinking, okay, I've got to pull gun, And whether or not you carry one with one down the pipe, I've got to rack the gun, pull it up, aim, squeeze the trigger, fire. You're not thinking of that. Right now you're thinking, oh my God, I'm about to die. I need to prevent this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go back to training. And if you can do that with your airsoft gun, repetition builds muscle memory. That could be the difference between life and death. Now, as far as accuracy, airsoft BBs do not fly the same way as bullets. So there is an amount of time you have to spend at the range, making sure you're proficient, that you're not just spraying and praying.
Training with the airsoft gun is building your skill on being able to pull the gun out, take the safety off, and fire it. You just keep doing that. You're building your muscle memory in that process. Eventually, you're going to have to go to a range, or say you're like us and we have a property that we go hunting at where we can go shooting whenever we feel like it. We'll go down there and we can actually shoot our handguns. We can practice even more with our actual handguns, being able to pull, take safety off, aim, and fire our actual guns, building the accuracy part of it, as well as increasing our already built up storage of muscle memory on pulling and removing safety. Now, some people, I know this for a fact, some people don't like carrying their handguns with one in the chamber.
Yeah, for myself, I have a couple of guns that I don't carry with one in the chamber. One is because I actually have a one safety. Like, okay, I have an LCP, Ruger LCP. Shout out to Ruger, free plugs. The LCP is a great gun. It's a pocket pistol. Literally will fit in my pocket, my back pocket.
Isn't it only 3 inches long from the end of the barrel to the hammer, something like that? It's real small.
It's got a 2.5-inch barrel, I think. But the point is, it does not have a safety. It's got an incredibly tough trigger pull that you're not accidentally going to just pull the trigger. But the fact is, it does not have a safety. So I usually don't carry that with one in the pipe. But most of my other guns, I do carry with one in the pipe.
Yeah.
But for that LCP, I would have to definitely just pull it out and rack it. But that's my backup to the backup. That's my back. I usually carry that as a pair if I have one on my side, one in my back pocket.
Yeah. But the reason I'm saying that is some people don't like it. Mm-hmm. Some people do. I always keep one in the chamber, but because of how my 1911 is built, it only has the grip safety on the back, but it also has the thumb safety on the side, locking the slide.
And a half-cock safety if you want to go there.
Yes, but the half-cock safety is going to be more of a hindrance because then you actually have to pull that back anyways.
Yeah.
At that point, having the half-cock safety, you still have to rack it or pull the hammer back.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying it is I can't remember who told me this. And it's going to pester me all night trying to figure it out. But someone told me that having no round in the chamber when you need that gun is like getting into a car crash without your seatbelt on. You're expecting to be able to have enough time when the situation comes to throw your seatbelt on or to chamber your round.
That would have been at our concealed carry lessons.
I think classes. it was after that because I don't remember him saying that.
Well, it was the range guy. The range officer told me that when I went. Anyway, another thing about the training with your airsoft gun is you got to get used to recoil. Obviously, real world guns have a lot of recoil, a lot more than airsoft gun. But gas blowback pistols are able to simulate at least some recoil. Yes. And the good thing about it is if you train with it, accuracy, you're going to have to use your real world gun. Mm-hmm. But getting used to, I'm shooting and now I've got to realign my sights on my target.
It gives you somewhat of a idea of what you're going to face when you actually start shooting your real gun.
Yeah. And so that's another thing. Now, we're gonna move on here to another segment, talking a little bit of weapons and gear. But I want to say that when we post this, we're probably gonna post this first off on YouTube, maybe with some pictures or whatnot, because we don't have a video camera here yet. That is coming. But when we do, I'll post the link to the USA Carry article in the description below. So, Cody, you said you had a couple of questions.
I do. I've looked up some unique guns and gear, and I've seen videos on them and that. And I wanted to ask you, if you had to build, like, say, a DMR type or a SMG type gun, what unique gun would you be using for that classification?
So, for a DMR, and for those who are new and don't really understand what that means, it's designated marksman rifle, which is pretty much, it's the medium range. It's not a sniper rifle, but it's not close range either.
Yes,
DMRs usually range in airsoft from 400 to 500 feet per second, and they can reach out and touch something, but just not as far as a sniper rifle. So as far as a DMR platform, I would have to go, you're talking about, my basic platform would be, I like the M4 style. You get the multiple mags, high capacity, mid capacity mags. I'd have to go with M4, but with a longer barrel. So probably like
an SR-25.
An SR-25, something like that. That would be my base, and then I'd probably attach a nice scope to it. Probably a front grip that can fold out into a bipod for stable.
Or a separate bipod in general.
I kind of like the front grip that you push the button and it goes, and has
I've seen those,
yeah.
And I've borrowed a guy's gun for a game that had that, and I tried to use it. I don't like it because, one, it doesn't really lock in place. Mm-hmm. So when you actually rest your gun on it, you have to make sure that the legs are completely out, or it's going to try to suck back up into the front grip. And two, it makes your gun sit so high up.
Yeah, that is a problem. But my thing is, because I'm a mover.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, I can't see anything because of fog. Everybody out there understands fog.
I don't know why you're yelling.
Emphasizing that my disdain.
Yes, but you don't have to
fog.
worry about that in general.
No, because I don't have glasses yet. Probably will end up having to get glasses sometime. But anyway.
We're getting off topic
here. We're getting very off topic. But, so, I understand the whole you want to have stable, adjusted, but my thing is I move around a lot. And having a bipod that you have to clip back up into it, unless you're proficient and you practice with it, it gets a little cumbersome, makes you move a little slower.
Yeah.
So I prefer the front grip style. I've used them, I've liked them. Yeah, they make you sit high, but that's just you have to stand up.
You could use the front grip that I run off of my M4, which all you gotta do is bring the two legs together and just throw it forwards, and then it's in place and you're ready to go again. And then just to get it off, you just gotta pinch it, bring it down just a tad bit, and it'll swing in place.
Yeah.
And it's very easy, and I have it all the way at the very end of my rail so that it's not gonna be up in my way when I'm using my front grip.
Right. So there's that. I would have something like that on a DMR. As I said, nice scope, adjustable crane stock, because I like adjustable crane stocks. You know my M4.
Yeah.
My ACOG sight that I have on my M4, you have to sit so close to it. I mean, your goggles pretty much have to be resting on the ACOG itself. So I have it. My crane stock is mostly forward, but there are times when I like to run around and I can extend it out. So adjustable crane stock.
I would get a different scope on there, to be honest. If you have to be that close to use it.
I've adjusted it. I don't have to be that close anymore. But
yeah.
So that's that. As far as SMG, which, for those of you who are new, submachine gun. You probably know that from playing Call of Duty. SMG submachine gun.
Usually don't have that far of range, usually close range.
Close range, fast shooting. I like the Vector. I like the Vector.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the price point of the Vectors now because they're so expensive.
I know, they're both like... Both of them I've seen are like 500 plus. Chris is thinking about HPAing his.
That'd be really cool. I'd love to see that. I don't know where he's going to find an HPA engine for it.
I have no idea.
I don't think they make those yet. The Vectors they're licensed, so nobody else can make them except Chris Vector. So, yeah, that once the patents run out
But I think his runs off of gas in the mags. All he would have to do would be tap the mags.
Tapping mags. We will do a podcast sometime in the future strictly on HPAs because I run HPA. Our teammate Ethan runs HPA. Cody wants to get his gun into HPA. So when we do that, we'll get an episode together about HPA. So look out on the future for that.
I want to HPA at least 3 of my guns.
Yep. It's expensive, I'll tell you that. You don't do it unless you're hardcore in Airsoft.
Yeah, just getting... Who'd you get yours from? I was thinking about doing the same.
I got my engine from Evic, and I got my tank, regulator, line, everything from Amped Airsoft.
Okay.
So,
well, Amp Airsoft has a package that you can get where you get the tank, the regulator, the lines, the engine, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I looked at the package, and you get to pick the different lines, this, that, and everything else, and the price will vary from what you pick.
Yeah, they do.
I think mine was like $550,
which is about as much as I paid.
Somewhere around in there.
Which is about as much as I paid for mine, but I pieced it and parted it together.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to SMGs. If I can't get the Chris Vector, MP5s are always good, but I think I'd have to look at the Bison because I like the way the Bison looks, feels. It's a very nice submachine gun.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with you on the submachine gun parts, but instead of the Bison, I'd probably have to go with a P90. I just love how compact they are.
Yeah, our other teammate, Caden Bear Jaeger, he is our Russian bear. He has a P90. Now his P90 is heavy though. Submachine guns are supposed to be rather on the light side. His P90 is heavy.
Well, he has like the
long
meat
range
tenderizer front to it that adds so much weight.
Yeah, his weight. And he's got the adapter so where he doesn't have to run P90 mags, it actually can run M4 mags.
And
which
that
adds
quite a bit of weight.
But yeah, I get yours. The P90, it's a bullpup design, so the mags stick in the back, and your barrel's long, but your gun itself is short.
Yeah.
So that is a nice thing because it adds a little extra range, a little extra power, and you don't compromise size.
Yeah. I would say the MP7 or the MP9, but I classify those more as machine pistols than submachine guns. But you can run those as primaries. I just personally don't.
Running submachine gun as a primary, the only time I can see that would be a good idea is if you're in close quarters combat. If you're playing indoors, a lot of indoor arenas.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few of them around. A lot of indoor arenas, submachine guns are the perfect case. You got to peek around corners, get around corners, and you get those occasions where people just jump out and jump scare you. And let's face it, when you got an airsoft gun that's pushing 400 feet per second with 32s,
most fields don't allow it that high. Most fields are in indoor arenas, 325, 350, I think.
Yeah, in indoor arenas, they have to have it a little bit lower. You got to have your joule count. Your joule number's got to be low. But that's the thing. With guns like what I got, the M4, HPA M4, you're not going to blast somebody in the face from 10 feet away. your MED, minimum engagement distance, is going to be really low. So, submachine guns in arenas, indoor arenas, is a perfect primary. So,
But we're not excluding indoor arenas to only submachine guns. If you have
No.
like a shortened gun,
yeah, short.
like I
barreled
wouldn't
M4.
use my M4 because it's a full length
My brother,
with a silencer which extends it, I think, about 5-6 inches longer.
yeah, my
I would
brother's
have
got
to use something smaller.
My brother's got a CQB M4, which has got a shortened barrel. That's perfect.
I think his is only like, what, 15 inches or so?
About that, yeah. So that's my submachine gun setup. Would be a Bison or a Chris Vector. There's a reason you brought that question up. What is it you wanted?
Well, I already told you what I wanted for my SMG classes, but I was thinking about doing I'd probably do an FNFAL as as my unique DMR class. Because I feel like that would be so much fun to run, and you don't really see those that often. Because when you go to the field, most guns you'll see are M4s and AKs and Galils for like your assault rifle classes.
Yeah.
Or you'll see some people running like smaller guns like the Vectors and that. I've seen a few of those. One of the guys on the team has one. Or you'll see people running light machine guns, which most of the time are the M249 or the M240 Bravos.
Yeah.
You don't really see FALs that often.
So, I think my dream gun, which is going to become a reality here in a little bit, would be the mini microgun. Minigun, microgun. Just think. You're running out on the field, and you have the microgun. Microgun by Evic. They sell it. It's a classic Army. I will be purchasing it here in a little bit. I'd say by the end of September, I should have it. When I do, we will do an unboxing video and post that on YouTube, on the channel. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. We're sitting at about, I don't know.
Okay, you have to explain why you want to get that.
Well, very quickly, because we do have to wrap this up, I am going to be building my own Juggernaut suit, which you will see on field at some point in the near future. And we'll do another podcast talking about how we're going to put together my Juggernaut suit. Cody himself, he has one, and he terrifies the field with an M249.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
I haven't ran that one yet.
You haven't ran the M249 in a while, but you do have the MG42. It is terrifying. Yes. It is horrifying.
And if you want pictures of that, it is up on Facebook on Site X. I ran that a couple of weeks back, and they put a bunch of very nice pictures up of it.
Now, where is Site X?
Site X is like South Ohio.
Hartville?
I can't remember. I know it's like east of Cincinnati. So it's bottom part of Ohio.
Lower Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a matter of fact, you want to see a picture? Look on YouTube right now, and you'll see it right there. So, that's a picture of him in his Juggernaut suit. Horrifying, terrifying Juggernaut suit. Yeah. But you'll see one with me and my microgun on there.
Yeah.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. All right. Saturday, September the 28th. Wolfpack Tech will be down at Fallen Warrior Airsoft. We'll put the link in the description below with the website.
It is
Operation
Heartbreak 3, I think. Yeah, it's Operation Heartbreak 3. It is a 24-hour long game. I believe they're supposed to be there at, I think they're going down on field at 10, so be there about 9. So you can Chrono's probably going to start about 9:30-ish.
Yep.
But you're going to be on field until Sunday the 29th until like noon or something.
Yeah, I will not be there for the whole evening into next morning. I will be there probably around noon-ish on Saturday. But we do have a couple of teammates. We got Ethan Myers. We don't have his code name yet.
It's Rampage.
Rampage, codename Rampage. He'll be out there, and I don't know if Caden's going to be out there.
Chris, I don't know his last name, but his call sign is Slagle. Slagle. I don't ask me why. It's just that's what his name was before they joined our team.
So anyway, those two will be out there. Come by and say hi. They should have
I think they're running the gun truck.
If they're running the gun truck. Look out for the gun truck.
They're probably going to have to get Kilroy then.
Kilroy is his MG42. Terrifying.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Right. Come out and see us then. They should be having their Wolfpack Tac shirts on. I am Alex, call sign Falcon.
And I am Cody, call sign Squirrel.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining the pack. See you next time.